Hey guys, so it's time to do something a little more fun. Fun for me anyways, it might be torture for you, but let's see. So I've been thinking a lot about what would make this particular course special and what I add to it. What is my addition? Because if you want to learn Java, you can read the book and you can practice by yourself. But what I think that the books don't really show you is how to actually write good code. So on top of teaching you the language features that are specified as the curriculum for this course, I'm also going to be adding in some topics that actually make you a better programmer. Okay, and some of those things, I kind of hear me talking about these things because I thread it through here and there, are like refactoring and good naming, and we'll be doing a tiny little bit of task management. And today what I'm going to go into in the context of strings is TDD, and TDD stands for Test Driven Development. Okay, now you've already heard me go on and on about these tests, and we use JUnit to write them, but specifically TDD means you write the test before you write the code. And the effect of that is it makes your code very modular and very easy to reuse, and it comes out quite lovely. And then on top of that, at the end, you've got a suite of tests to sort of protect your code so that whenever you make changes, you can feel confident that you're not breaking things. Well, if you break things, you'll know right away. Okay, so the exercise that we're doing next is, it's a pretty simple thing, palindromes. Did I spell that right? Palindromes. Palindromes are special words that you can spell forwards and backwards. So like an example is noon or kayak. So if you read them backwards, it's still the same word. That's a palindrome. Okay, so I'm going to start this little project by making a test. And tests go into a test package. You have to make it. So you would say new source folder and then call it test. And it sits right there along with source. That's where you put your finished code. The next thing is you want to make the package match the package in source. So this is going to be an exercise. You guys are actually going to do most of this. I'm just setting it up for you. So I'm going to put in here exercises just to match with what's in source. And then in here I'm going to make a test. So new JUnit test case. I'm going to call it palindrome test. And this is a pretty standard way to name your tests. My class will be called palindrome, and I just took test at the end of it. Okay, so it's made me, I guess, a scaffold here. And if I run this, it should fail with a not yet implemented message. Okay, cool. And if I wanted to see that green, I could put assert true in here, and I could just make this true. Red bars make me kind of feel a little unsettled. Okay, so just to show you a little bit about how these tests work. So the first thing you have is what is the expected value, and then the actual value. So your code is going to go in here, and this is the correct answer. So say we were doing 2 plus 2. So I've got the 4 in there because that's what I expect. And over here, I've got the equation. So I'm not using an assert true this time. I'm going to use an assert equals, which is the most common one. When I run that, it's going to calculate the 2 plus 2, and then it's going to check that against 4. If this was different, it would give me a message down here saying that what was expected was not what it got. So this is very useful, this part down here. But you wouldn't have these numbers in here. This would be actually referring to your code, and this would be the answer. Okay, so I'm going to, for my palindrome thing, I'm going to read a file because I need a list of words so that I can verify that they are proper words. And I've got that already in here in my resource directory called words. There they all are. So I'm going to read the words file. So that's actually what this test is going to be. I'm going to test load words. Cool. All right, so how I'm going to have that happen is I'm going to check if a certain thing has been loaded. Okay, so my test is going to be assert true. So I'm just going to have one parameter, and it's going to be get the palindromes class that I'm about to make. Palindrome, load messages, not messages, load words. Yeah, and then see if it contains, let's see, a common word contains, yeah, that's the thing that we will be doing for, we did that for array lists. Apple, should be a word that should be in there. Okay, so I've already written my test. It's red and it's certainly not going to pass, but this is a very clear description of what I'm expecting to happen. All right, so I'm going to have Eclipse help me make these things. Let's create the class Palindrome. I don't want it to be in test. I don't want it to be in the test folder. I want it to be in the source folder. Pop that in there, and then it's going to make me, automatically make me a load words method. There it is. This will actually be returning an array list of words. That'll be strings. Okay, yeah, I know I have to implement that. Okay, oh, so actually already everything is gone. All the red is gone. Okay, I'm going to run this. And it's red, that's okay, because it's given a null pointer exception because I'm returning null here. Okay, so now to actually implement that. So the first thing I want to do is I want to take these words and I want to read them in. That is something that we did before, actually. So here I'm going to open the Game of Thrones project because we were reading stuff in from a file there, and I'm going to reuse the method that I have in there. Okay, what's mine called? Master. Okay, so because I have so many things in here, I'm using a working set. If you want to use this in Eclipse, you can select working set for different projects. So like this, these are the final projects that I was correcting, the awesome work that you guys did last. And then I can switch over to my recording. I don't want to have a bunch of stuff in there and then have like all my, that's too hard to look at. So that's why I use those working sets. Those are cool. Okay, but anyway, back on task. So I wanted to use the code that I have in here in this file helper. All right, so I have two methods. One loads the metadata, that loads it in, gives back a string. And then I have one that loads all the messages from the message logs. Okay, so this is pretty similar to what I want to do because I want to get a list of all of the words, but it's going to be messages. So I'm going to see if I can repurpose this method by doing a little refactoring. So first I'm going to, what I'm thinking in my brain is this is hard coded, so we're going to want to take this part out. So I'm going to see if I can refactor it and extract a local variable there. That will do for now. And then I guess I'm going to reorder these with my Alt button because I do want to take this line. So this one is going to be specific to Game of Thrones, but the rest of the method I'm going to use for my palindrome, for loading the words for my palindrome. So I'm going to select this and extract the method. So usually when I'm doing this refactoring, I use the short keys, but I'm trying to go a little bit slower. Extract method there. What am I going to call it? Load file contents into array list. Okay, that'll do. I like that name. All right, so what I've done now is I've done some refactorings that didn't actually require any manual coding. So I'm pretty confident that I haven't broken anything, but I have tests. See, I knew that I had tests for this Game of Thrones business. That's why I felt confident coming in here and messing with it. So here are my Game of Thrones tests. And then I have something here, you know, I'm checking whether the stuff gets loaded. So it definitely won't work if I mess something up. So I'm going to run this. Green, 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 still green. Okay, great. So now I know I haven't broken the Game of Thrones business. Load messages, da, 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 da. Okay, so this Okay, so now I have two methods. This one is the Game of Thrones one, and it's delegating to this more general one. Load file contents into array list, path name. Okay, I think I can use this. So I'm going to try using it in my other project. Okay, so in here we're going to do file helper. File helper. Do you know about file helper? Unlikely. All right, so I'm going to hard code it and get the red and see if Eclipse will help me with this. Okay, file helper. Suggestions, please. So file helper is in a different project to the one I'm in now, so I will have to do something to allow it to be imported. Oh, import. All right. So that's a little progress. It's not accessible. Okay, so what I have to do is I have to make sure that this is visible outside of my Game of Thrones project, which is this one called Lesson 9 Master, and that is decided in this module info. This is kind of a new thing. I'm not going to go into it much because Keith will be doing this with you in Java 3, but you know, I need to get module Java expose. I need to know what the keyword is for making something visible. Requires exports. All right, let's do that. So what this is saying, these are the things that it depends on, and these are the things that it is exposing. Let's try that. Thank you. Okay, who knows if I got it right? Oh, okay, that's looking promising. This method is not applicable for these arguments. Oh, that is because I need to put a string in here. That shouldn't be too hard. I always put my files in resource. Words. How about that? Okay, and now it's saying the visibility over there is not public, so I'll just do a quick fix with that. That's fine. Thank you, Eclipse. Okay, so now it seems like it might actually run. But I guess I want to return this stuff. Yeah, let's return that. Okay, so what it's saying now is that the return types don't match. So if I go in here and look at my file helper, see that it's returning a list rather than an array list. That's the superclass. I can make those match. That's fine with me. Okay, so now that things are mostly not red, I'm going to go back here and run my test. Okay, so there's something, you know, this usually doesn't happen. You usually don't get the green bar first time. But I guess it's just unlucky today or something. I thought that would be a little harder. Okay, so what I've done there is I've exposed the lesson 9 stuff from the Game of Thrones project, and now I'm using this file helper class, and then it still works for Game of Thrones, and then I might be using it for other things. Okay, and the whole point of what we're trying to do is to figure out if something is a palindrome or not, but really I want the focus to be on you guys writing tests. So the first test tests load words. The next test, okay, I don't know if this is the next one or not, but is palindrome has 2 parts to it. The key to writing test first is to find the next smallest piece of functionality that you want to build. And for this, it's check word exists. So you want to check that something exists, so you need to write a method for that and a test also. And then you want to check if it's a palindrome by putting it backwards and then seeing if that word exists. Okay, so these are the next 2 tests that you guys should make. And I want you to do it in a test first way. So the next thing that you'll do is make a test in here. To do that, you do test, control space, test Jupiter. There we go. That'll pop up that for you. And then go crazy. Okay, good luck with your TDD. Woohoo!